This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, this is Damien. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can
Yes,
hear.
we can.
Okay. Seems like couldn't hear you all. TLT. Okay. Yeah, something wrong with the GoToMeeting. It selected my speaker instead of my headset. Can you guys try again to respond?
Yeah, we can hear you well.
Okay, great. Good. Thank you very much. Was wondering why no one was talking. It's just me. So, okay, great. So let me share my screen to kickstart. So I think I shared the. I think
Yeah, I see your screen.
Yep, it's already full.
Can we see a slide?
Yep, the slide is updated. Only the title is not.
It's like Tokyo.
Okay, Korea agenda is also not. Okay. So it's a short meeting, I guess, for this round, and then I think most of us are actually working from home. Try to battle COVID-19. Please stay home and stay safe.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep. So yep, the first one to share our virtual global summit. So there are a few things that are really important days to remember, especially there's a deadline coming up on this week. So I hope for those who already have a presentation submitted in the linkings for the global summit, and we have 16 sessions there, and now it's moving to virtual as shared last month. Then the new time slot for us is actually in the chat, the schedule tool. Please review them and confirm your session. So you need to do that in the linking to confirm. The instruction to do confirmation has been sent out by OCP Foundation. So please review that. I did some work myself as well. If you have not do that, please do it as soon as possible. It's actually due already. And the more important one is to upload your PowerPoint presentation and also video recording to the tool. So that is actually coming soon by April 3rd. Have you all started recording? So OCP Foundation FNTech recommend Intrado tool. Not sure have you guys check it out. I personally did it. Not too familiar, and if we were to do through Intrado, it seems that we need to schedule a session with Intrado, and if you're a co-presenter, everyone needs to come together and do it together. Just from Facebook, we do have like the team go investigate what's a good tool to use, and would like to share with you guys through the next subgroup here that GoToMeeting that we're currently using seems to be pretty good as well. So you can try it out. GoToMeeting offers a 14-day trial. So to record, you need to have some kind, either a trial account or a paid account. So if you have not used the trial before in some other times, you can use the trial and do the recording. I personally have a few shares presentation session with a few of you and then also others in the server group. What I'm doing is actually create a room for those, and then we can use the room to record separate session, and we can merge them together later using a separate tool. So I think it's pretty cool. So to to check it out. If you have other tools that you use that you know is good, please speak up so we all of us can learn from you as well.
Hey, Damien, it's Thomas.
Hey, Thomas.
Hey, so I contacted Archana yesterday with regarding to the recordings. Archana actually said if you're able to, and if you record audio into your PowerPoint, that is also acceptable if you're not doing video.
Okay, nice.
So that's what I plan to do, at least for our talk.
Yep, thanks for sharing that. Yeah. I can also share why GoToMeeting is something that Facebook OCP team recommend to Facebook folks. Is it does able to show your face and the presentation together. So Facebook at least think that there is actually more, if you feel the presence of the presenter. So that's also one of the reasons why GoToMeeting tool was recommended. And of course, we are free to use any other tool. We just said there's a default recommendation. And thanks, Thomas, for sharing. So the next part of the Virtual Global Summit is our OCP Experience Lab. And April, can you give an update on this area?
Yeah, sure. We've had quite a few companies who are planning on participating initially come forward and say they're wanting to participate and contribute videos. So the video deadline, like it says there, is 4/15. If you need an extension on that, we may be able to get it extended a week, but they're really pushing to try to have it done by 4/15. We have a meeting tomorrow to discuss details more. So if anyone in this forum is not on that meeting invite and would like to be, feel free to contact me and I'll forward it to you. But otherwise, I will talk with those of you who are participating tomorrow.
And Elad, you will still be leading the cover for the next subgroup, right? The cover video.
Yes, I will be taking this one. Yeah.
Yeah, feel free to give an overview of kind of what that is.
Yep.
Vlad?
Yeah, you want to give us some highlights of the video?
So, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. So the guidelines are, sorry, I did not hear your side if you talked about each exhibit on its own. But for the overall OCP NIC Experience Center, we will have a short video that will highlight the different the different avenues we've been working on for Spec 1.0. We'll highlight mechanics, we'll highlight the electrical side, the interop side that we captured, and views for what can be the next step spec. The timeline is quite challenging, I would say, Damien.
Yes.
And so we'll have to figure out how to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Try out GoToMeeting. Give it a try. I just tried
Yes.
yesterday. Not too bad. Not too bad.
Okay. Sure.
Yep.
So I think we need to break it down
right.
into tasks, and we don't have this plan yet, and we'll have to work on it.
Yep, that's right. And yeah, at this table actually I snapshot from April summary. So I would also like to update April that for Facebook video, we will partner with Quanta to perform the video.
Okay, great.
Due to we are kind of, yeah. So Quanta is helping Facebook on this area.
Wonderful.
Okay. And I guess the meat of today is also on the signal integrity update. Samit, you are online.
Yes. Sorry.
Yes,
Yeah.
Samit, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, early. Yeah. So last month, so the SI working group met and we kind of discussed around again the PCIe Gen 5 uh, the design requirements for both the platform and the NICs. So Intel shared some additional analysis on their large form factor, and the analysis is showing that that on the large form factor, it is a little challenging to even hit the 9.5 dB budget, even with the low loss material. So the conversations in the discussions we had, like you have captured, the working group kind of agreed upon. Uh, so there was also some proposals like, are there opportunities on the short form factor? Can we gain some margin on the short form factor? And so far, some of the preliminary analysis from the NIC vendors show yes, there is an opportunity. So the group has decided to actually focus right now on the short form factor to see if there are opportunities to gain margin for the platform side. So in the next working meeting, so Intel is going to Robert is helping Robert and April are helping to provide additional analysis on the short form factor with the focus just primarily on the short form factor to see if there is an opportunity there to gain some margin. We also expect, so I think Elad is there on Mellanox. I think so Wasim has been helping. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping Mellanox can also share some of the data.
Uh-huh. Yes, I know Wasim is working to collect that. We received your email and expect our answer. We are obviously working a little bit slower these days
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the priorities and the challenges accessing the labs.
that's true.
Okay.
So, so we'll hopefully, yeah. So in the next this month's meeting, we'll have more data on the short form factor at least, and so we get more insights into if there's really an opportunity to gain there. So that, and in addition to that, then the group also kind of discussed about, okay, how do we want to define the large form factor requirements? And so this is the conversation we still need to have in the meeting. So in the next month's, so this month's meeting, that's another topic which we want to talk about. What are the options to define channel requirements for large form factor? Given that we are still, it's the data is showing that there's still challenges to hit the 9.5 dB. So there have been some ideas floated, shared across, primarily on like some defining some kind of an implementation requirements, such as put a retimer or just use by 16. So I think so those needs to be further um, discussed. So that's we expect
Mm-hmm.
in the next meeting. Um, Anyone else have anything? Did I capture everything from the group? If from our meeting, SI meeting, please feel to add.
I think that adding retimer for an analysis for the purpose of budget splitting is okay, but I guess we probably don't need to go down the road that kind of say that if you need to implement large form factor, you need a retimer. I think that's really system dependent. It could be very short on the system side and it works, right? So yeah, but using that for analysis, I think is okay. Like might not be putting in. We can put suggestion that if it doesn't meet it, you use retimer. I think that's okay. Yeah.
Good point. Any other thoughts, comments? Um, Anyone from Marvel online? Is Mike? I don't see Mike Dudek in here. Or is there Mike? Mike, are you there? See MD. I don't know if that's Mike.
No, that's not.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other thoughts?
So
April, April, do you have any other thoughts on this?
yeah, one question, Samit.
Uh-huh.
Have you looked into CXL whether they are exactly the same in physical? I think they are, but would like to double check that because ideally we also take the CXL together in this.
Yes, so we did actually. So thanks, Damon, for bringing that up. Forgot to mention. Yes, we did. We did talk about the CXL. So I think the physical layer for the CXL is same as the PCIe. So this was something which Rick also Rick Eads confirmed that I think the requirements will be the same for CXL because this is more the physical layer is the same as the PCIe, so there's no difference. So whatever the requirements of the PCIe Gen 5 will be the same as for CXL.
Okay, great. Then yeah, we can kill two birds with one stone then.
My thoughts on the large form factor, it's probably not going to be a worst case than a standard add-in card, PCIe add-in card. So I think we should be able to hit the 9.5 loss. But it probably will be up to each specific vendor to figure that out.
Nice. At least a positive note from Intel.
Yeah, I mean the case we did was the study we did on the large form factor was pretty worst case, but it definitely shows that we're not going to be able to get away with what we did for Gen 4, right? It's going to take more effort, but I think we'll be able to figure it out. But I don't know that we'll be able to give anything up for large form factor anyway.
Okay, yeah, please keep working on this. It's important for us to make a breakthrough here.
Yeah.
The next one is mechanical. We'd like to circle back on two things. Despite we also talked about it in the last month. So regarding ejector latch, I saw an email discussion between Jonathan, Josh, and Chris, and of course Long on this area. So yeah, I would like to get to share this with the wider audience. So I did not see Josh, and I wonder if I didn't see Josh. I didn't see Chris. Chris maybe in the previous meeting there seriously ran over. Yeah, and maybe Jonathan, you can give an update about the discussion for ejector latch.
I think along with having an issue with one of the version of the latch mechanism. So in the spec right now, there's two different variation with the new types of curl press fit into the latch mechanism. And so I don't know which version he's using. So and so that the way that it attached to the latch mechanism need to make sure that when you use the correct version and how the manufacturer is assembling them to make sure that it's tightly fit in there. So we're kind of discussing to see what the root cause first, and then we'll find out how to correct that, because it is a tight tolerance control process. So I think it's just a matter of calibrating it and going through and getting it done. And I think Chris, from my last email from Chris, he had some sample and he took a couple of pictures and shared that. And So I think what happened was that the way that it was made and how it comes together, it's a loose fitting, so that's why it's moving in there. But we can definitely work and provide some recommended to improve.
Yep. Maybe I can share the picture so we can discuss together. Is this expected, like in our 3D mechanical, is it expected not to flange down?
It's depending on the version. I think this version was one of the version where Mellanox recommended, and in this particular case, the neural and also the hole on the latch mechanism need to be in a much tighter control interferent fit. So when you press them in, that they fit interferently, and then rotate that, so that way it doesn't. So I gotta go back and take a look at which version Long is using. I haven't had a chance to discuss with him further, versus the second version where Intel been working, and it's also in the spec, is basically you drill a square countersink into this at top, and then you open it out, so that way it press out on top, and so it doesn't allow the tab to move, and there's some tight interferent fit, and so sit flush with the bottom.
Okay. From the mechanical group, is it both supported or one is deprecated?
It's both, depending on which preference. That's why both of them are in the spec, depending on which you feel more comfortable and your manufacturer has a better control over it.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's this is a matter of understanding the fitting, and also you gotta coordinate with your manufacturing to set up the process and then fine tune it to get it working.
Okay. Sure. Yep. Thanks for the update.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if Gilad from Mellanox is here. He has he was the originator of this proposal and has the version from Mellanox, and they were able to get it working. I don't know if he's online here and share any input on that, but I'll probably include it in with the feedback that I have, so that way Long has a better information on this.
Yeah, and also any learning that from Long or Tom, that once you've done it, if it's something that he can share with the group, that'd be great.
Yep.
Yeah. 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 As for mechanical compliance fixture, I'm not sure. Jonathan, you know about it? I know it's mainly Josh is driving that.
So far, I have not heard any update from Josh or from Chris yet. Chris now is leading the mechanical. Josh is transferring over to Chris, so I don't know if Chris is online here either.
Yeah, he is probably not. We have some data center roadshow today. That's why I'm late too. Yeah, I'll check it offline then.
Yeah, last time I haven't heard any update from it. I don't know if there were here. I think Josh was looking for some volunteers. So
Yeah. Okay. Oh, by the way, just to clarify, the data center roadshow is virtual. We're not gonna travel. Yeah, I think that's all for this week. So I guess we are all preparing for the virtual global summit, and remember to do your recording and submit by Friday. Any topics you would like to brought up for discussion? Okay, seems no. And then if that's the case, we have half an hour back to work on the OCP Global Summit.
Oh, yeah, this is Ja.
Oh,
Sorry,
yes,
I
yeah,
missed the
yes.
last call. Yeah. So I want to take this opportunity to introduce an effort in OCP server group, but I think potentially will extend to other group. So it is about modularization related work. So my plan is to drop by different project meeting and the sub-project meeting like this to kind of introduce what we are thinking about to the community. And I did a quick intro, I think last week in server community, and think I got a few replies. And I want to continue doing it to find the interesting partner who is interested with this effort. So is it okay I do the presentation mode here?
Yes, yeah, Ja. Yep. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. So all right. All right. Can you see the screen?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Let me do the beginning. Okay. So I want to first maybe start with a bit of background. So basically, for the OCP incubation committee, in the recent a couple of years, there are 2 rounds of scoping of different efforts in the community. And in terms of the importance from like the representative of incubation committee representing different project point of view. So I think with community support, I was joining the incubation committee October last year, and there was another round of scoping. So among about 15 different technologies directions, that these are the top 4 based on the assessment in about end of last year. So modularization is has been in the top 5 or top 4 for the past 2 rounds of assessment. And I think in this quarter, or pretty much Q1 this year, I think there is a bit more scoping and offline discussion, trying to understand how are we going to assess this problem. So I think I want to take this opportunity to engage with this community about what we are thinking and what we want to achieve on high level. And the most important is to find the right partner to work with, right? Whoever is interested. So so in general, the scope and goals of this exercise is one, we want to start with capturing where we are in terms of modularization efforts inside and outside of OCP and in different technology domains. The thought is to understand where we are, understand the status quo, and as a good data to direct our action, and also I think that's a good base for us to understand what's the challenges as well. And the other part is we want to be kind of look at a different modularization effort. What is the modularization mean? What defines modularization? And probably in different efforts are very different. So we want to, through the conversation, through the data gathering, to have that answer. And besides, we want to understand the challenge in terms of modularization. I think OCP NIC is a community that has been working on this topic for almost 3 years, right? And across the way, I think there is many learning and many challenges that we overcome, and I think that can be good experience to share with other community, and vice versa, we may learn from other community as well. Then I think another thing is we want to considering while we have this kind of broader picture, we may have a better idea of where to expand and where to converge duplicate efforts, for example. And this is again not within OCP, not within server group. It is across different project groups and in OCP and outside of OCP as well. And by the way, I think the scope and goal can evolve as we understand the challenge and opportunity better along the way. So I think we should think this as a fairly high level thoughts and evolving thoughts. And here is an example of different kind of technology domain and what are the major modularization efforts around them. And as we can see, there's definitely some area has some duplicate or bifurcation, and maybe they are solving different problems, right? But I think this, by the way, this is definitely not a complete list. And I think this is part of the initial thoughts of the mapping, right? But I think just completing this mapping and understand broadly in the industry may provide some value. And here is another example of initial thoughts of what are the different scopes of modularization efforts. And I think every different standardized effort is kind of taking a subset of the scopes. And besides internal challenge, these are the more like typical or obvious challenges, but there are probably other challenges that we should be aware or we want to be aware, I think. So really quick is I want to kind of share with this community about our next steps, right? So I think currently we have created a framework for discussion and documentation and carry on a few interviews. So there are probably anywhere between 5 to 10 people from different part of the industry is providing their thoughts and participating in different level. And I think with this, we want to further inform and involving communities. For Nick is one important example here. And my thought is also starting from informal discussion, like one-on-one or small group chat or group video conference, but taking the data, have that kind of organized, and then if they're needed, we may evolve to a certain workshop or kind of a certain form that can have a more people join at the same time. But for now, we are more like just taking this sideline conversation, informal conversation, but I think we want to go kind of really get the good stuff from those conversations first. In order to who are we talking to, I think is really carry the slogan of this OCP summit, which is open to all. I think different OCP projects, obviously, but I think a standard body beyond OCP should also be part of it. So we are actively reaching out for those people. And please do also reach out to us if you want to learn more. If you have interest, if you want to involve in different level, it can be quite light, share some thoughts. It can be quite involved, like leading certain exercise down the road. So I want to leave this the way to involve fairly open-ended as well. And the contact is listed below. John, CMAC, and I are here, but I think we expect to have more people join this effort and aid to this list as well. All right, so I'm going to stop here, and if there are any questions, I'm happy to take the question or carry on some discussion in real time here.
Yeah, Jack, can you please forward this presentation or upload it to somewhere where we can download it later?
Sure. I think it might already be on the server workgroup wiki. I need to double check, but
Yeah, it's already on the server workgroup wiki.
definitely I can have a copy. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, John.
Yeah, yeah, this is definitely something that the next subgroup will be interested in. We're working on the module as you mentioned, and more importantly, we're also looking into investigation of different use case of this NIC form factor. Yeah,
Yep.
so it's definitely something interesting that the next subgroup will be interested.
Good to know. So I didn't notice John still is here. John, you have anything to add? You have something to add around this topic?
No, I think Joe covered it pretty well.
Thank you. Any other suggestions, thoughts, quick thoughts before I pass it back to Damien? All right, so Damien, thank you for providing this slot. And thank everyone for this.
Actually, I guess that's all for today. So unless there's another thing that you guys want to talk about. Okay, if not, let's adjourn the meeting.
All right, thank you everyone.
And let's work on the video. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Mhm.